Father, where does boldness come from? From Paris. Boldness is rudeness and drives away the fear of God, like smoke that we direct toward the bees, so they move away from the hive. Father, how can I get rid of boldness? To feel yourself lower than everyone. A lot of humility is needed. As the smallest, to have respect and reverence. To say your thought with humility and not show that you know everything. Then God will clothe you with His grace and you will have growth. Boldness in the one who obeys is his greatest enemy, because it drives away reverence. Usually, after boldness comes rebellion, after that insensitivity and carelessness for small sins, with which a person slowly becomes used to them and later sees them as something natural. But there is no rest in the depth of the soul, only unrest. Such a person cannot even understand what he has, because his heart is hardened and he does not realize the crooked things he does. Father, what connection does simplicity have with boldness? One thing is simplicity, another thing is boldness. Simplicity has reverence inside it and something childlike. Boldness has rudeness. Many times, even in sincerity, there can be rudeness. In sincerity and simplicity, often a lot of rudeness is hidden, when a person is not careful. Such a one says, I am an open character, or, I am simple, and speaks rudely without understanding it. But still, simplicity is one thing and rudeness is another. Father, what is spiritual modesty? Spiritual modesty is the fear of God in the good sense. This fear, this restraint brings joy, dripping honey into the heart, spiritual honey. Look, a small little child who is shy respects his father, feels reverence, and from much modesty does not even look at him. He wants to ask something and turns red. Such a one is good to be placed at the icon corner. Another child says, "He's my father," and stretches out in front of him without respect, with boldness. And when he wants something, he asks with the demand that it be given, stomps his foot on the floor, threatens. In a good family, children move freely. There is respect without the children being forced. There is no military discipline. They rejoice in their father and mother, and they rejoice in them. Love does not know shame, says Abba Isaac. It has boldness in its good sense. Love has reverence and respect in it, that is, it overcomes fear. One person restrains himself, feels shy, but is also afraid, because he does not have true modesty. Another has modesty but is not afraid, because he has the real one, spiritual modesty. When modesty is spiritual, the one who has it feels joy. The little child, for example, loves his father and mother with a certain kind of boldness. He takes his father's cap, even if he is an officer, throws it, and rejoices. He has the good simplicity, not rudeness. Let us distinguish simplicity from rudeness. If respect and modesty are missing, then we reach boldness to rudeness. And then you hear the child saying while lying down, "Mom, bring me a glass of water. Make it cold." Ah, but it's not cold. I told you to bring it cold. Inside fear, however, there is respect, and inside respect there is love. What I respect, I also love, and what I love, I also respect. The woman should respect the man. The man should love his wife. But now everything is being leveled and families are being destroyed, because they take the gospel the wrong way around. The man says, the woman must submit, but if you don't have love, you can't even make a cat submit. If you don't have love, the other is not convinced, and you can't even ask them to bring you a glass of water. When someone respects the other, he respects himself. He does not take himself into account. Respect toward the neighbor shows greatness of soul, because such a person does not consider himself. And the one who only cares about himself does not have greatness of soul. Father, is it only in the new generation that there is this tendency to judge everyone and everything, or was it always like this? No, before it was not like this. This is the spirit of our times. And it is not enough for them that they judge the laypeople, all the politicians and the people of the church, but they also judge the saints, and they even end up judging God himself. And they say, God in this matter should have worked like this, he did not work correctly. God should not have done this. Listen to these words. Hey child, are you the one speaking? Why not? I'm saying my opinion, he answers you, and he does not understand how much rudeness is in his words. The worldly spirit has destroyed many good things. Evil is advancing toward an ugly state, toward blasphemy. They judge God, and their thought does not even rebuke them that this would be blasphemy. There are some with a strong presence, and if they also have a little logic, they begin. This one is short, that one walks crooked, the other does this, and they take no account of anyone. Once someone came to the hut and told me, God should not have done this like that. I tell him, can you hold a small stone in the air? These stars that you see are not shining balls, but entire masses of matter that move at a dizzying speed and remain without deviating from their path. This, in my opinion, should not have been done like this, he says again. Listen to that. But will we judge God? Logic has entered and trust in God has left. And if you tell him something, he answers, forgive me, but I said my opinion. Can I not say my opinion? What God hears from us. It is good that he does not take us to account in detail. In the Old Testament it is shown that God said to the Israelites, drive out the Canaanites completely from the land. Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 2. Since God said it, he knew why. But they said, this is not a humane deed. Let us leave them, let us not destroy them. But afterward they were drawn into immorality, into idolatry, and they sacrificed their children to idols, as it says in the Psalms 105-37. God knows why he does a certain thing. But some say with boldness, why should God make hell? Judgment begins, and from then on that man no longer has a spiritual state, not even a little divine grace to understand more deeply, that is, to understand for what reason God did a certain thing. Why means judgment, pride, egoism. Father, some children ask, why did Christ have to be crucified? Could God not save the world in another way? He saved it in this way and people are not moved. What would it have been if he had saved it in another way? There are some who say, God did not suffer anything. The Son was crucified. In my view, a father would prefer to sacrifice himself rather than sacrifice his son. It is more painful for a father to have his son sacrificed than himself. Since they do not understand what love means, what more can you tell them? Another one told me, Adam had 2 children, Abel and Cain. But where did Cain get a wife from? Let him read in the Old Testament and he will see that Adam begot sons and daughters. Genesis chapter 5 verse 4, after Seth. Cain, Genesis chapter 4 verses 14 to 15, had fled into the mountains after killing his brother and did not know that the woman he took was his sister. God arranged it like this so that there would be people of one race, so that there would not be evil and killing. So they would say, we are from the same parents, from Adam and Eve, in order to restrain human evil. And still, see how much evil exists today. What I go through with some of those who come to the hut. I tell them, my head hurts and I don't have aspirin. And then they leave upset. They do not understand why I tell them that my head hurts, and they say, we made so much effort and he tells us his head hurts. Others ask me, should we bring you an aspirin? There is need of a lot of attentiveness. The disordered and careless behavior drives away the divine grace. The lack of respect is the biggest obstacle for the coming of the grace of God. The more respect children have toward parents, teachers, those older in general, the more divine grace they receive. And the more untamed they are, the more they are abandoned by the grace of God. Worldly freedom has driven away not only reverence, but also worldly politeness. Some children come there to the hut and shout to their father, hey, Dad, do you have cigarettes? Mine are finished. Where was such a thing before? And even if someone smoked, he smoked in secret. Now, as if nothing is happening. How should they not then be completely stripped of divine grace? Today girls insult their brothers for their faith in God with such dirty words in front of their father and mother, and the father says nothing. My hair stood on end when I heard. After the pilgrims left, I was speaking by myself. The worldly environment and worldly parents destroy the children. The environment influences a lot. Few are the children who have modesty and greatness of soul. Most children are wild, because they behave with rudeness. Many parents bring me their sons and tell me, Father, my child has a demon. But I see that by no means do the children have a demon. God forbid. Few are the children who have a demon. All the others have an external demonic influence. That is, the devil gives them commands from outside. He is not inside them, but his work he does from outside as well. But from where does this come? From rudeness. When children speak with rudeness to elders, they drive away the grace of God. And when the grace of God leaves, little demons come and the children become wild, they make disorder. While the children who have reverence, respect, who listen to parents, teachers, elders, always receive the grace of God and have His blessing. The grace of God covers them. Much reverence toward God, much respect toward elders brings abundantly divine grace into the souls, to such a measure that they are revealed by the divine shining of grace. The grace of God does not go to rebellious children, but to the good, reverent ones with greatness of soul. And these children have a look that shines. And the more respect they have toward parents, toward elders, the more grace they receive. And the more untamed they are, the more they are abandoned by the grace of God. The child who begins to say, "No, I want that, I want the other," with an uncontrolled demand, will become rebellious, will become like a devil. Because even Lucifer wanted to place his throne higher than the throne of God. You will see, all the children whose wills are done will become rebellious. If these children will not repent to be delivered from the evil wave that strikes them, but will continue to behave with rudeness, then, God forbid, a double abandonment will be caused and they will come to speak badly even about God, and then they will be ruled by the evil spirits. The world has become like a madhouse. Little children fall asleep at midnight, even though they should fall asleep with the setting of the sun. They are shut in apartments, in concrete, and enter into the schedule of the adults. What can the children do? What can the parents do? The children come and tell me, "Our parents don't understand us." The parents also come and tell me, "Our children don't understand us." A gap has been created between parents and children. For it to be erased, the parents must come down into the state of the children, and the children must rise into that of the parents. And if now the children do not trouble their parents, then their own children later will not trouble them either. If now the children do not listen and trouble their parents, then their children will trouble them later, because the spiritual laws will be at work. Glory to our God now and forever. Amen.